Now, the United Nations human rights experts have expressed concerns over China's collective repression of its population, especially in Xinjiang and Tibet. The UN has asked the Chinese government to take decisive measures to protect fundamental freedoms in the country. The global body said that the persecution of Uyghur Muslims and Tibetans was a matter of grave concern. The UN also took note of the detention of lawyers and disappearances of human rights activists across China. The body also expressed concerns over crackdown on journalists and medical workers who criticized the Chinese government's handling of the coronavirus pandemic. Many of the critics have been charged with spreading misinformation and disrupting public order. Hong Kong also featured in the UN report. The United Nations denounced the repression of pro-democracy protests in the city. It took serious note of impunity for excessive use of force by the police, the alleged use of chemical agents against protesters, and the sexual harassment of female demonstrators in police stations. And so tensions between the United States and China have heightened once again. This time, the cause is Trump administration's decision to ban the entry of Chinese officials into America. The State Department in the United States has imposed visa restrictions on Chinese Communist Party for undermining the freedom in Hong Kong. Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State, has said that the sanctions imposed by Trump's office was a move considered to punish Beijing over the proposed security law in Hong Kong. The visa sanctions imposed by US would target both current and former members of the Chinese Communist Party and comes right after the US Senate voted to impose sanctions on individuals who undermine Hong Kong's autonomy and the banks that do business with it. The Chinese have called this decision a mistake and that it should be immediately withdrawn. The Chinese embassy in the US also released a statement saying security and development interests. China passed its controversial security bill in late May, and the new legislation would make everything that undermines Beijing's authority over Hong Kong a crime. China is also likely to deploy its own security and law and order agencies in Hong Kong for the first time as well. Earlier, the US president said that he would end preferential treatment for Hong Kong as a response to China's activity in the region and claimed that Beijing was replacing its promise of one country, two systems with one country, one system. He further questioned China's handling of issues in Hong Kong and has hit out at Xi's administration